How do you see this QB room kind of shaking out? Is it what we're going to expect, or will we have any surprises at QB2?
Oh, well, QB2, there's no questions at all.
All day, baby. You know that.
Let's hunt.
If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground. Where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight. Get the nothing!
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that why you're here?
Let the games begin.
This is where we hold them! This is where we fight! This is where they die!
That is missing from this list.
So it should just be 4.
There's Tanner, just the 4. Okay.
Tanner, Kyle,
Let me zoom
DTR,
in just a
Jalen.
little.
Yeah.
Let me zoom in just a little bit so we can get a little better picture of what we got here. Yeah, that's a little bit better. All right, so this is a QB room. Obviously, we got Hurts as being QB1. We saw a little bit of Tanner McKee last year. Kyle McCord was their draft pick. I'm out of Syracuse. Beloved Eagles fan as well. And DTR out of UCLA, if you guys remember him way back when. Been bounced around a couple places, really kind of goes around where the running quarterback is necessary. He was in Cleveland. I forget who drafted him, though.
Cleveland. He ain't been around that long.
How long has he been around?
Since 2023, I think. He was a 5th-round pick for the Browns.
Has he only been in Cleveland? I thought he went somewhere. I thought he was somewhere else before Cleveland. No?
He's still
Okay,
on his contract, then.
Yeah, my bad. My bad. Thought he'd been 3-4 years in. Okay. So obviously Tanner McKee has the leg up, right? Knows the offense. Been with the team. Played. Obviously DTR has some intangibles that can be more relatable to Hurts in the way that we run this offense, and then Kyle McCord is just kind of the wild card as a rookie. How do you see this QB room kind of shaking out? Is it what we're going to expect, or will we have any surprises at QB2?
Oh, well, QB2, there's no questions at all. McKee's got that job locked in a way.
Yep.
The Kenny Pickett trade showed that. QB3, though, emergency QB, game day inactive. That's going to go to Kyle McCord, the draftee.
Real quick, didn't that change? Didn't that rule change that the QB3 can now – he won't count as against a roster, but he can play, right?
Yeah, that doesn't count against the game day inactives.
Right.
But that was from the previous 2022 from when the Eagles beat the shit out of the Niners.
Yep.
The Niners cried and got QB3. So, it is a legitimate role now. It's what Tanner McKee served as last season. But this season, Tanner McKee will be the active QB2. Kyle McCord, the cool thing about the QB3 is they do get game checks. So for veterans that are in that position, they still get paid. So that's a big one as opposed to being inactive. DTR, the Eagles are one of the few teams that have carried 4 quarterbacks on the total roster, and that includes the 53 and the practice squad. So I refer to that as the 70-man roster. That is 69 legal players with 1 international exemption. I could see DTR possibly being retained as a young developmental player, and I think that he could go to the practice squad because nobody showed a lot of interest in him, and he hasn't had a lot of good performances, and I think that he'd be a good scout team guy. I think the big thing here is to note the fact that Howie Roseman called us years ago a QB factory. And I would say year in and year out, the QB factory continues to churn. And there's nothing anybody can say about it. They traded a 3rd for Kenny, got a 5th and DTR back. So if they turn DTR into a 6th, you then traded for Kenny via a 3rd and ended up getting a 4th back, won a Super Bowl as him as the backup while starting a game, and then flipped him for more picks. So they're doing it right as opposed to anybody else. I can tell you that.
What do you think? I know you said Tanner's got this pretty much locked up. DTR obviously been in the league for 2 years. What do you see the QB3 kind of shaking out?
I think McCord wipes his ass with DTR in camp, and I think that they expect that to happen. From what I understand, they weren't expecting McCord to be there when they took it. They
what was it, 5th round? Was that 5th round pick?
6th round pick.
6th round. I was a little off. Yeah, 6th round. Okay.
But I mean, he did lead the FBS in total passing. There's not a lot of mobility there. But funny enough, while you mentioned earlier that DTR is more fit for the offense, I actually disagree. I think that Jalen Hurts is more of a square and a circle hole in this offense, and that when you plug somebody like Tanner McKee in, they can operate without issue. I think McCord would be the same boat.
So really not much shakeup in the roster. Let me go back here.
I mean, Pickett was moved
in the roster from the QB room per se. Do you think they keep all 4?
I think there's a chance that Dorian Thompson-Robinson on week 1 is on the practice squad for the Philadelphia Eagles, yes. But that would also require 31 teams to pass on him via the waivers. So
right,
there's a chance somebody takes a flyer on him, you know. It is what it is. Was Dorian Thompson-Robinson got back in the trade because they felt they had a depth issue? No. He was just you know, give a QB, get a QB and get a pick. Why not take
Yeah.
it?
Agreed. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking too much, kind of pretty much straightforward from the QB room for the Philadelphia Eagles.